YouTube, it has been a long time since I've been on, but Charlie Kirk was just killed in Utah, where I live. And one of my closest friends was there and he saw the entire thing. So I felt like it was, as somebody who cares about these issues, I have a responsibility to talk about them when I have unique stories and unique perspectives. Um, this is obviously a tragedy. It's so sad what happened to Charlie, and it happened in my state. And I actually graduated from the university where Charlie was killed, and so it feels horrible. It feels just terrible, and I feel like I'm sort of responsible to talk about it and to bring it to light to people who want to hear a perspective of somebody who saw it firsthand exactly when it happened. So I'm going to bring my friend Tom in. Hey, Tom.
What's up?
Uh, Not much. Not having a great day. You had a worse day than I did, that's for sure. Um,
Yeah,
we're going to try to, obviously, I don't want to get too much into it because I know it was very traumatic for you and insane. So I don't want to talk about it too much or open any scars or anything like that. But I do think it would be valuable for people to hear what happened from your perspective because you were in the crowd. So walk us
hmm
through a little bit where you were and what happened, and then the aftermath. We'll get to that later, but let's just start with where were you and what happened.
yeah. I would say I was probably, in terms of trying to set the scene, I was probably like 50 feet away from him, I'd say. There was a good amount of people in front of me, and there was also a good amount of people behind me. I was kind of in the middle of the crowd. Um, so Charlie Kirk was on this lower level, and then there were these little like steps that went up and up that were like long platforms, and I was at the very top of the platforms. And that's where the majority of the crowd kind of was. And um so that being said, the vibes were very interesting. There was a lot of pro America sentiment, obviously, because Turning Point USA, you got a lot of people who love America there chanting USA, which was a great environment to be in. It was one of the coolest things to be a part of before the tragedy happened, obviously. But there was a fair amount of protesters who were seeing some very foul things, and I mean like extremely foul things. Like they were calling Charlie Kirk like a cuck and like all sorts of manner of like just awful things. I'm like, why would you say that? But it's very rooted in hatred, is the main thing that, and I think Charlie Kirk's presence also brought forward the extremes in a lot of people because of how divisive he is as a person. And I think that's also probably why he had such a strong protest going on at there as well.
So walk us through where you were and then what happened.
Yeah, so like I said, I was like 50 feet back. I was a little bit elevated from his position, and they go through the first question. They were having a debate about religion, and then the second question comes and it's about like gun violence and the LGBT community and
Well,
how.
this is an interesting one because I've heard different reports on this. Was the question about whether transgenders should be able to get weapons, or was it about gun violence, like
Well,
mass
and
shootings
what
and
you bring
stuff?
up is actually, yeah, that's a very interesting point because the speakers were so bad, people farther back couldn't hear anything what the questioner was asking. We could kind of hear what Charlie Kirk was saying, but in terms of what any of the disagrees were saying, it was really hard to hear.
So what was the person asking then? Do you remember the question that he asked specifically?
Yeah, it was a little like jumbled, but the things I was able to pick apart were he said LGBTQ people, gun violence, da 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 da. That's what I heard.
Okay, so you don't remember specifically the question.
No, the specific question kind of skips me, but
Okay,
that's the basis of everything I heard with it. But
continue. Thank you. Cool.
yeah, so after that is when things started becoming horrible and evil. I remember just standing there, and then all of a sudden I heard what sounded like a firecracker just pop, and I thought, oh, someone just tried to scare Charlie Kirk, and like everybody like drops down. I'm like, oh yeah, no. And then I look over and I see Charlie Kirk and the horrible condition he was in, and I'm like, oh no. And everybody just starts running. It's chaos.
Just describe, how did you see Charlie? Was like, tell us, what did he look like? What happened?
So the bullet, you can look up the video, viewer discretion advised, but if
I don't
you
want to watch the video. Just describe it for the
yeah,
audience.
but
Show that
the
or see
bullet
that.
yeah, the bullet hits his left side of his neck, like around right here, and then it hit his artery, and there was a lot of blood spewing out, and he
Oh,
kind of just fell on his left side down.
oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, it
Did
was
did
horrifying.
you see? I mean, did you see the like the kind of the aftermath when he was on the ground, or did you see him sitting up? Like, what? When
He
did you
was
see it?
like kind of prostrated for a second and then fell down.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and seeing that in that moment was horrifying. Like one of the scariest sights I've ever seen.
Oh
Like,
man.
and the fact that you hit it on the head, it happened in Utah. Like,
Yeah.
I've felt nothing but safe here in Utah up until this point.
Right. Yeah.
And
At
then,
the university where I graduated from, and you're attending.
right, exactly. And here I am. I go to what I expected to be a safe, I think I saw a family, like, safe public event for people to show up to support, their country. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm on the ground thinking, oh crap, is this guy a mass shooter? What's going on? Because the gunshot, like, it came from behind me and a little bit to the left, from what I heard. I could have been wrong though. I didn't know where this guy
Right.
was. I
Right.
didn't know if he was wanting more targets. Like, if he's crazy enough to shoot one person, he's crazy enough to shoot a bunch of people.
Right. So you're thinking in your head, okay, Charlie's just the first one to go, and I'm gonna be next.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what the major sentiment of everyone around me was we got to get out of here. We're in danger.
So tell us
And
about the aftermath.
yeah, so people were running all over the place. It was a huge crowd just zooming to get back into the main UVU building because it was outside.
Right.
And so they were all running back. And I remember I was running. I saw these poor girls, 18 years old, just crying and just terrified. And I go, what kind of sick piece of crap does that? These are people who just left their parents' house and now they are being forced to look at all of this horrible stuff. That's something that will like haunt them for the rest of it's something that will haunt me for a
Right.
long time, if not the
Yeah.
rest of my life. And we're all running and I'm helping some people calm down as we're trying to get to a safe place. I'm like, it's gonna be okay, like let's go, like let's just get out of here. Because like clearly this is not a safe place to be.
Right.
So we as we're running, there's these UVU workers who are kind of like directing us on where to go. The like props to the UVU workers who are helping us get to safe spots, by the way.
Yeah.
Like UVU is going to come under a lot of fire because they didn't protect Charlie Kirk, but I think what they did for the students was pretty adequate from everything I've seen in like my own personal experience. Um and those workers did amazing jobs making sure people were safe, get them out of harm's way. And I start running and I go through the cafeteria and I run to the student life and wellness building with everybody else. And there's this little part next to the UVUSA section where there's a little storage room, I guess. I don't really know what else to call it, but it was pretty big. I'm assuming I was hiding in there with like 50 other people.
Wow.
There's a lot of people in that room. And so I think the first traumatic point was when the shooting actually happened, and I didn't know if there was about to be a mass shooting, and I was next. That was
Right.
by far the scariest part. The second scariest part though was inside of the room because what happened was we were all like sitting together, and after like 15, 20 minutes of waiting, a worker comes in. She's like, guys, word is the shooter's still prowling the halls. Stay freaking quiet. And then she slams the door shut. and then I go, "Oh crap, this guy is targeting us now." That's essentially what that means. Whether that's true or not, like I'm sure the guy just fled and it was like a safety protocol thing, but the idea that there's a guy like in the school searching for us trying to kill people, it's a very like traumatizing thought. And like all around me, people were calling their parents. I tried calling my parents. I tried calling like anyone I could, but everyone was calling, so all the lines were filled up. So I couldn't make a call. So I just sent my family texts. I was updating them. And um we like all like got together and we're like, okay, if we want to truly survive this, we got to barricade these doors. And so we started like moving all the tables to like the doorways to make sure
Oh
nobody
my
could get
gosh,
in.
bro.
And
It's like the scene
like,
from Two Towers of Lord of the Rings where they're like barricading the door, the orcs are coming. That is crazy.
right, yeah, yeah, I mean, obviously a little bit more weight to the situation, but that's basically
No, I mean
basically what it
they're
was.
coming in to kill you, bro.
Yeah. And when you realize that, like, you always wonder, like, how will I react in a situation like that? Like,
Yeah.
will I have like the courage to like stand up to something like that, or like will I just run, or like what would happen? And like the amount of helplessness that I felt, and like the idea I could do nothing was
Mm.
a very scary thing to come across. And um me and a bunch of other guys barricaded it, and we were like sitting on either side of the door because it was a double door. And so like if anybody were to come in and break through the barricade, like me and a bunch of other guys were just ready to jump them.
Yeah.
And so we kind of set up a trap that way. And then there's this one guy who like kind of stops everybody. He's like, "Guys, we need to pray to our God right now." And like everybody, it was honestly, despite the circumstance, it was one of the most amazing experiences I've felt, where like everybody in that room knelt down. I'm sure there were non-members of the LDS church there, like multi-faith.
Maybe
We
even atheists, you don't know.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure. We all like kneel down, and this guy offers a prayer, and he stands up, offers a prayer, and then I remember there was somebody who was deaf, and there was an ASL interpreter for the prayer, and I was watching them.
Mm.
And the and then like after maybe another like 10-15 minutes after we barricaded the door, somebody like let us know that we were good to leave.
Mm.
And I think my main takeaway is like, this was terror. This was horror.
Yeah.
Like, this was scarier than any movie I could have watched. And
Oh
like,
yeah. Governor Cox called it a political assassination.
oh, I 100% agree with him. This was politically motivated.
Yeah.
And I am under the firm opinion, which I think is a fair take, any level of political violence should be wrong. I
Absolutely.
think I think if you are on the right and you go, wow, the left is only attacking people on the right. I've heard many people bring this up to me in my own personal dialogue with people. Like, wow, why is only people on the left attacking leaders on the right? Like, you can look at Donald Trump, you can look at Charlie Kirk now. Like, what's going on? And I'm not sure, and I don't think that political violence is the answer. We I don't think we should be going out and retaliating. What I think we should be doing is we should be harsh on crime. I think we need to do such a better job at just shutting this stuff down.
Yeah.
And like, and this wasn't even the only bad thing that happened that I learned about today. Like, there was the stabbing on the train in North
That was
Carolina.
that was actually back in August, but the story just barely became big because the video came out this last weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. But like, still, like, why are we seeing so much of this stuff?
Right.
And that guy was like let out of jail so many times.
14 times. He had 14. He was arrested 14 times, yeah. And he was out on on cashless bail. Yeah.
And so anyway, I think that this guy that performed the political assassination should get charged with that. I think he should also get charged for a count of murder for every, or not murder, for terrorism for every single person that was there.
Yeah.
Because when I looked around and I saw like children of parents worrying that like maybe I won't get to see my mom or dad anymore. I
Yeah.
know I felt that. Like legitimately, I was like, wow, I may never get to see my girlfriend again.
Right.
And I'm like, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
People that bring this kind of stuff to our society should be stopped.
Yeah. I totally agree. I I've had my issues with Governor Cox in the past, but in the press conference that he gave several hours after Charlie Kirk was confirmed to be dead, he said, "We're going to find this person, and remember that in the state of Utah, we still have the death penalty." So, I think that this guy is going to get exactly what's coming to him,
A hundred
um,
percent.
and I think what's the scariest thing is that they did apprehend somebody, but it wasn't the right person. At least they don't think that it is. And they have somebody else in custody that they have yet to confirm that it was the right person, though. And so they're still on the search for this person potentially. And so if anybody has any information they can pass along to the police, that'd be great because this person is still out potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And
And that's scary.
he might do something again. So, well, I really appreciate you, Tom, for coming on and telling us your piece and giving us your perspective. I'm super sorry that that happened to you. It's an insane story, and I'm glad you're okay.
Me
And
too.
as sad as it is to say, I'm glad that no one else was injured because
100%.
with when Trump got shot, someone was killed behind him because the guy took multiple shots. In this case, it was just one shot, and Charlie Kirk was the only one that was killed. But it is extremely unfortunate because Charlie was really an influential person, whether you liked him or not. He didn't deserve to go like this. And he had two children and he has a wife. And our thoughts and prayers go out to them. And I'm sure there's going to be some kind of way that you can donate. I know that Charlie runs the organization Turning Point USA, and I'm sure they're looking for donations. So if you feel inclined to give, I would go to TPS, what is it? TPS USA, Turning Point
I think it's
USA,
either TP USA or TPS USA, one of the two.
something like that. TPS USA, I think is the right one. Go there and donate a couple bucks. I bought a T-shirt that just says Charlie Kirk on it. I'm gonna wear that around for the next couple of weeks, just in honor of him. Um, and again, even if you don't like the man, he did deserve to go like that. Well, Tom, thanks again. Are there any other details that we're missing that you want to add in, or
No, I mean, that's the gist of the story. It's just a horrible thing.
it is
No.
horrible? It is horrible, and I hope that this doesn't discourage people from doing what Charlie did because he changed a lot of people's opinions, and he
Mm-hmm.
influenced a lot of young people to jump out of this woke mind virus that's so common in universities. And him being gone is a massive blow to team sanity, as I call it. So hopefully someone can step up and take his place, and I hope that when they do, they really lock the places down, man. Like Trump gets shot because they didn't lock the place down. Charlie gets killed because they didn't lock the place down. Like you've got to have just the tightest security if you're a conservative. If you are a
Mm-hmm.
big conservative, you cannot go throughout life without security. There are crazy people out there that want to end your life. Um, yeah, that's my final piece on that.
Amen, brother. Yeah, of
Okay. Well, thanks, Tom. I really appreciate it, bro. Catch you later.
course. Catch you later, man. Bye.